had one friend. Situations in life coming, you gotta trust them. Found out many times in life you can't trust men. So I rolled solo, that process was an adjustment. Friends let you down, not around when you needing them. Only here to take like a child, got you feeding them. Better off leaving them like salt, that's the seasoning. Killing black people, that sugar really depleting them. Knowledge over ignorance, rising above predicaments. Fighting for equality, speaking for all the innocents. These drugs they been giving us, turning our people vigilant. Innocent, dissidents, violence is coming imminent. Gotta fall a couple times to learn the lessons faster. Thinking will it matter if I skip a couple chapters? This life that I'm after got me climbing up the ladder. Won't be another rapper, bankrupt with the chapter. On another mission to get rich, it's big chips. And past the crown on solid ground, the kid spits. On another level, these devils can't block the business. The kid get psycho with a rifle, get your wig split. Change the game passively in the back, so happily. Jersey and welcome to another edition of the Community Soldier Podcast. What's going on, guys? Welcome. We got a new episode today. As we wait for our guests to join up, we're going to give them a minute. We just want to talk to y'all about today's episode. Actually, he's coming in now. So let me introduce you guys to Mr. Patrick Matteson. Let's get him added into the screen. All right. How's it going, my brother? You might gotta unmute your microphone. It should be at the bottom. Oh, you not muted? We get a voice check. We're not hearing anything from you. Now it's muted. Now you unmuted. Hello? Can you hear me? Sorry guys, we got some technical issues. One moment while we get it out. I know you can hear me, but for some reason we can't hear you, brother. Are you able to check your microphone settings on the bottom? There should be a gear icon. Bear with us, guys. We'll get this joint. We'll get it going right, so we can get this conversation going. Yep, no worries. We'll wait for you to get right. It might not be reading the microphone if you're on your computer. It might not have a microphone built in, but if you join through your phone, then you should also be able to tap in as well.
Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, we can hear you
Give me
now.
1 second. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second, man.
No worries. We're here.
I'll get you situated. Give me 1 second.
Yep. No worries, brother. You know, the technology is new for me too. I just started.
I can't hear you in my phone now.
Yep. Now you can hear me, right?
So give me 1 second and I'll get it situated.
Okay. Yeah, this is new technology for us too. New platform for us. Using this platform, but we're learning as we go. What's up, guys? If you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube, leave us a comment. Feel free to be a part of the conversation. Join, be a part of the conversation. We love to hear what you think. Uh, you know, definitely tap in with us as we wait for our guests to get right. Let's see what can we do right here. Let's play with something. Can we add stuff on the fly? Yes, we can. We can do videos.
Can you hear me, man?
Yep, I can hear you now, loud and clear. You good now? We're good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce y'all
Phone's not
to.
working,
All
babes.
right, perfect. I can hear you loud and clear. So let me introduce you guys to Mr. Patrick. Um, I'm gonna let him introduce himself to y'all, but first we just want to welcome you to the Community Soldier broadcast. Thank you for taking time out of your evening, to come on. First of all, just tell the people about yourself. Give us a little bit of introduction. Did I lose you? Sorry, guys, we having technical issues today with our guest Patrick. He's got a wonderful story, though. I want to get you guys opportunity to hear his story. It's very inspirational to me, and I think it's just something that we in general could benefit from, right? Okay, there's a problem with his connection, maybe it seems like, but hopefully we can get it together because, like I said, he has an amazing story, um, and it's a testament to what can happen when we get the community together, when we can get the community to support brothers and sisters. So hopefully he can get it up. If not, we're gonna have to get him back on so that he can tell this story because I really want him to tell it. We're gonna give him a minute, man. Let's see if we can give him a minute while he get that together. Hopefully we can get him back on. I think that he had connection issues. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about actually is here we go. He's back on. Brother Patrick, we got you back on. It's like we having connection issues. We having connection issues, guys. Sorry about that. Here we go. You're back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I got you. Fine. My whole phone froze out and everything.
Yeah, man. That's just technology these days, man. You can never rely on it for real when you need it. But tell the people about yourself real quick. Let us know what your background.
A little bit about myself. I just recently had a 4 month and I'm now an animal. But a little back is I was sentenced to the Department of Correction for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I did 12 years, 9 months, day for I made some very poor decisions as a kid, and it resulted in the fact of having 2 years. At December 31st, 2019, over 4.5 years with no more prison time, things along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing I would want to talk about the most interesting part of the going from one place in the penitentiary back in society.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Um, having having been through that and went through, did you go through the Michigan Department of Corrections reentry program?
No, I actually didn't. I was in the state of Ohio at my time,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Did they
brought
have
out
did
Michigan. Go ahead.
did they have any form of reentry program for you?
The interesting part about that is we didn't have numbers, and a group of men came to the conclusion that we needed to rehabilitate ourselves. And we ended up hope that we wanted to cater for housing and what broke down. So then focus on integrity, back to us, building for the nation. Because at the end of the day, when we ended up locked up, something here is wrong. So it was taking the time while we were back there to help ourselves. And our family deserves it. We changed our lives. They don't care. So we ended up coming up with a little money to do at our institution based off of concepts from the scene and
Mm-hmm.
Oregon ran it and changed the institution and over 128 programs, 1,200 inmates were actively when while we're talking right now, they're actually
Wow. What what
being
type of
updated
programming
by huh?
what type of programming did you create? Did you help create with that?
Well, there was an animal program that we brought and there was a little mini program for that. Cat,
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Galaxy from Animal Planet coming in and doing called Heaven. Show called
Mm-hmm.
Help. That's where I learned in that program. One of the dorms focused on education. Focused on character. One of the man to man. Realized we identify and then focus. There's no point in teaching this info, material, resources, so we inmates decided the role of the spearhead we would have building these programs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm the thing where we ended up growing our own produce out into to people that like instead of their medication. If we put that food on the table for them, then they can get for blood pressure, whatever the case. We wanted to be assets. And a lot of my friends that were incarcerated on 20 plus years, and they may not see do something that was extraordinary, that stood out, for you to get to know
Yeah.
a couple gentlemen that I we focused on, hey, let's do something like this, would allow the parole board to recognize them. And both the men that I sat down and was just my mentors, brothers, I told them before I walked out of there that they will see the street. And they both are on the outside now. They're
Nice.
doing amazing. And I mean, Matt's doing 7 years plus, and finally walking out because someone had
Wow.
his back. Said, hey, I see the potential for you. You made some crazy, heinous crime class. I think you started.
Mhm. Let me ask you something. When you're coming home, I like to call us returning neighbors, right? Because we are neighbors,
Right.
right? So I like to say, when our returning neighbors come home, what are the biggest, what is the biggest gap, like in lack of resources that they need that they aren't getting when they come home?
I think one of the biggest issues for a man transitioning from society, I mean, from being incarcerated to society, is that these gentlemen have been pretty much put on a shelf for a time frame, and they say, okay, we're gonna let you out now once that time frame is up, and they say, we'll do a good job, but
Yeah.
you gotta realize if they do nothing before skill, they can walk out employable, uh, they're gonna
Hmm.
because the they lack those social skills
Hmm.
that they were deprived of being when they get back in our environment. They don't have the skills that we go back to what they always had. But my
Yeah.
point was once they put that shelf, the family support that they had before they went no longer around.
Mm.
They may have had before they went in, maybe a leader in some way, shape, or form. That's why they left that in the first
Yeah.
because they didn't have support.
Yeah.
Now
That's
for
very
me,
true.
I didn't lose any. Lost out of those 13 years, never lose them. Some
Man,
people say it's
bless you.
15, but the fact is, I lost someone after I got out. Someone that I was involved with. Really, I thought it was she passed away with an abnormal on her Mother's Day, and she died.
Man, I'm
Um,
sorry to hear that.
someone that I thought was similar, it just wasn't happening. But my family gave me the support to overcome, but if I had that family support and resources that they had, I think I most likely would have went back. So I think one thing that the prison is lacking, and I understand they can sit here and say security, this and that, but it's not having the outbuild the relationship that's necessary to have that support.
Yeah, when you come home, that's what the numbers are reflecting. When you look at recidivism rates, the rate at which people return back to prison, when you look at those numbers, mostly that comes from men and women that haven't had the chance to build a good support system or what we call roots into the community. For example, like when people get married, when they come home, or when you have children, those roots are what actually help keep you home. So when people don't have that chance, that opportunity to build up those relationships that have been lost over time. We're seeing now a lot of men that were sentenced in the 80s and 90s with the hard drug laws, and they're coming home and their mothers and fathers have passed away, and they don't have any family or resources. So right now we're seeing a need for mentorship programs that can help people once they come out to help reintegrate them into society. Um, what brought you to Jackson, if I can ask? Like, what brought you down this way?
My father moved up to Jackson from Ohio back when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a bad kid. I wasn't let's say I didn't go to jail for just stealing candy.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we all have our quirks and addictions and things along those lines, and it eventually got me to the point that I was like, I need something better. I want more money. So like I needed to change my area, let's say. But I grew up in Jackson. I went to Vanderbilt Lake High School. A lot of people know me if I would I went. 'Cause I was doing
Yeah.
something. I mean, put it out blast. I've even in my principal vehicle. Like I didn't care.
Yeah. 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 We all been there. We all definitely been there. So this basically leads me up to how you got involved with the STEP program. Can you tell me about that?
Well, I got in the STEP program because, like I told you, my girl had passed away, and a couple weeks later, I was hit by a car. Um, it was
Man,
bad. Came off on the
man.
curb while I was trying to deal with grieving and smoked weed. They said they was projected about 60 miles an hour, 40 to 60,
Man.
but
Man.
I don't remember any of it. The cameras that they did have showed that I got back up, pulled the bike out that got kicked up under a vehicle. They sped off, and I put the tire in my hand and the bike on my shoulder and walked home to my roommate where I said hospital and slipped. It was Oklahoma.
Man.
When I came back, you kind of realized what was going on. Uh, that was a bad decision. So I stayed in Grand Rapids, and eventually just Jackson because my weed that day. And,
Hmm.
I came back to Jackson, and I was looking for resources, and I ran into a friend that I went to school with, and he's seen him in close, 15, 17 years, something like that. And he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna hook you up with this person that I know. Her name's Hannah." So
Hmm.
Hannah, came into my existence, and we sat down, and then DJ and people with the STEP program, got got me involved, and I mean, I loved it. I had to step back because personal reasons for a while, but
Hmm.
trying to get a hold of me, that program. I got to stay at home here, so I'm the only one in blood roommate, and they and I got to step back and but
Yeah.
organization, ideology I think are very important because if you don't have the you know the support system when you come home, this organization is going to kind of help you up, help you walk again, and they help with clothing, food, and someone to check up on you. I think one of
Yeah.
the biggest things I walked through when I got released wasn't very spoke about was mental health.
Yeah.
You have these men come back out, don't have that support system that pissed off so bad they want to sprint their face because he talks sideways at work. These mentors that say, listen, I've done this before. Here I am.
Yep.
You can do, and that's what
Yeah, that's very true. Because what people don't understand that to survive inside of a prison, especially for as long as you have, right? You have to develop a certain mindset. You have to have a certain level of awareness. You have to think totally different than what an average person that goes to work every day on the outside, right? So when a person comes home from living that for 13 years, 20 years, it takes a while for you to adjust that mindset and switch it over to world on the outside, right? Because like
it
you said,
is.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like you said, your reactions are different, and they have to be different for you to remain home.
Yeah. With you saying all that, all I can think of was my personal situation.
Hmm.
My family was all there. The welcome homes, the parties, like, gosh, man, you're here. But when everybody left from the party, when you
Hmm.
go home, this is where I'm pulling out to, and because my sister and her wife took me in to let me pull out there, they went back to work. Their life still continues, you know. So while I'm sitting there, I'm eating a bowl of cereal. I was Angel. He battles with himself. He talks.
Hmm.
God, why am I here? What is this? God's in there wrestling with him. Hey, I have to do a job. Have peace, discipline. Don't fall in the temptation that people want you to do. They'll, they'll let you die.
Hmm.
Keep focused on what the goal is. And I'm listening to that song, and it stopped. And I didn't have like the whole little YouTube where it just goes into the next song. It plays a song and then it stops. And there I am in the kitchen at my sister's house, and it dawned on me that it's been the first time in 13 years that I don't have to look to my shoulder. I don't have to worry
Wow.
about being sad. And I lost. I
Wow.
ain't cried. Years, you know,
Yeah.
but lost because I realized look behind my back and worry about being sad. Worry about being hit with a shot or a tuna can.
Yep. Yep.
So reality hit right there and that everybody's life continues in the back there. Now how my life is starting.
Yep.
And that I have no one damn
Yep.
if it don't work. So I went out and I started looking the Christian got involved with churches, the goodwill, and I used the resources of 211. I like driver test and everything. And 36. They
Hmm.
say it takes 90. You prepare for that test. Walk up on a you say the but then when you get your license, over 10 years, take the driver's test. So I went on down there and I was counting that. I only
Hmm.
get in because right now it's 6 months to get in. I went in one day and was like, hey, what's going on? Let me take this call. She's tired, like, full time. And she gets off the phone and she goes, "I have a cancellation. You want to get it? Yep. So like if you have the determination, you get. you won't allow anyone to tell you you don't excuses and you just ride.
Yep.
You can do it.
Yep.
You really can. No, there's gonna be days when you're gonna not. I remember calling my buddy one day. Wanted to talk me everything I knew there. I was like, dude, I had it so easy back there.
Hmm.
Easier to go back.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, don't ever say that. And I just kept pushing. If I didn't have it,
Yeah. What advice do you give to the returning neighbor who doesn't have as much support system, um, and is out here struggling and really stuck in between, uh, going back and trying to stay free? What advice would you give to that man or woman?
when I was back there, I met a lot, and religion, and they're always interesting to hear. And I'm not gonna get all religious or anything, but what I will say is that if you do look at religion, they all come back and talking about how we were brought here or whatever the case may be. But we're amazing people. Like we can accomplish so much, but when it comes down to it, we have to do. If you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter how
Yeah.
much you want. It doesn't matter. You got if you don't believe in yourself, and that you deserve more happiness than you got. But if you will believe in your damn self,
Mm-hmm.
you can do whatever
Facts.
you want.
Facts. Never let nothing stop you. I tell people all the time, I have 4 felonies, but yet I work for one of the biggest nonprofits in Jackson. I'm a case manager, a social worker. I just never let anything deter me from doing what I want to do. So, well, before we go, man, I just want to give you this last opportunity to say something to the people, man.
All I'm gonna say is this: whatever you want to do in life, follow. You. I watch someone say
Mm-hmm.
about this person not loving, initiative, all that. There's so much more. And if you be a light to someone else and help someone else in life, not only will it help them make you an amazing person. You take transformation the way you look at life differently.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is you do whatever you want, you can accomplish anything you want. You have to believe.
Facts. Facts. Man, we want to thank you again, Pat, for coming on to the show, man. We appreciate you for taking the time out. We salute you and we wish you all the best of luck as you continue your journey of staying free. If you ever need anything, definitely feel free to reach out, man. We got you, my guy.
One last thing about the community. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually doing I'm going in today. I got a formal so you got dogs, cats,
Uh-huh.
you just sit down and get a hold of me. Book, we'll go from there.
Nice. Y'all heard it, man. Y'all take a look. Check him out. Appreciate you, my guy. You take it easy, man.
You too anytime.
All right, man. Look, let me introduce my guy. We got our next guest. He is coming up, man. But we're gonna give another round of applause for Patrick. We appreciate him for tapping in with us today. Next up, we got my brother Cornell. My brother Cornell, what's going
Hey,
on, my guy?
what's going on, fam? How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Let me get this banner off your face real quick, man. good. We got you.
Hold on, let me
Right.
sit
Hold
up a
on. Let
little
me
bit
sit up
for
a
you
little
there.
bit for you there. Yeah, yeah. There you go. There we go. My guy. For those that don't know, my brother Cornell, man, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are.
Oh man, I'm
Oh
too
man,
humble
I'm
for
too
all
humble
that.
for.
Uh, I'm Jackson, born and raised. I'm a father
I'm
of
a
five,
father.
4 high schoolers in the home. Been working with at-risk youth for the past probably about 8 years. Um,
Yep.
right now working housing, community action agency,
Community
but
action agency,
also
but
working
also
with
work.
youth inside of a detention facility locally. So yeah, just
Yeah,
grinding to
just
help
grinding
people.
to help people. That's why we wanted to have you on the show, man. Community soldier. First of all, we want to give you your flowers while you still here. You
I
know,
appreciate
I
that.
appreciate that. We respect people that are actively out here, and what I see and what I call making a change in the community, um, being a part of the solution and not a part of the problem.
Yep.
Yep. So we definitely recognize you for the work that you've been doing. I've been watching you ever since the youth build days. When you
Yeah.
first came around, and you've been an amazing impact on the youth. Uh,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
I can only imagine what you're doing down there at the youth center for the children that are down there. But I know that they need someone like you. So that's gonna bring me to what I wanted to talk to you about. You just got a brand new position down there at Community Action Agency.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us about that position. I'm excited about this position, and I really want the people to know about it.
Oh man. So I was super excited when I first heard about this position. The official title is Fatherhood Engagement Specialist. So what I'm going to be doing is working with expecting fathers, new fathers,
Fathers,
fathers who have
fathers who have
children in early
children in
in
early
what is it?
what is it?
Early Head
Early
Start,
Head
Head
Start,
Start,
Head Start.
maybe even a little
Maybe
bit
even a
older,
little bit
just connecting them with resources,
is
providing that
providing
safe
that safe
space for
space for
fathers to be
fathers to be
fathers,
fathers,
but also
but
be
also be
vulnerable
vulnerable
and like
and like
just
just
learn new
learn
ways
new
to
ways
break
to
all
break
those
all those
generational
generational
curses.
curses.
So I'm
So
super
I'm
excited
super
to
excited to,
play my part. Now that I
now
got the
that I
job,
got the job.
like
You
Justin,
know,
I
Justin,
was
I was
I've been talking about it for
talking about
months.
it. Yeah.
Um, and I
Yeah.
was
And I was
excited even
excited
just to
even
play
just
my
to play
part
my part
if I
if
stayed
I
in the
stayed in the
housing
housing
situation where I'm
where
currently
I'm
at.
currently at.
Um,
Um,
but to be able
but
to
to be able to
spearhead
spearhead
this
this
and
and
become the
become the
benchmark,
benchmark,
like that's
like
what I'm
that's
excited
what I'm
about.
excited about.
I'm excited to
I'm
see that
excited to see
smile
that
on that
smile
dad's
on that
face
dad's face
when he hasn't
when
been
he
able to
hasn't
see
been
his
able to
kid
see his
for a
kid
while,
for a
and we
while,
make
and
that
we make
happen
that
in a
happen in a
productive way.
productive way. Tell me, why is a position like this needed in our community, especially?
Sorry, I got a little
Sorry, I
hair.
got a little hair.
All right.
All right.
Look at all of it, or if we look at all of the quote unquote broken men in our community, the community, our men in our community who don't feel like it's okay to be vulnerable or teach their son it's okay to be vulnerable, the dads who are struggling, and I mean struggling to see their kids. One of my friends called this morning, and after a 4 year fight, he was finally able to get 50-50 custody of his son.
Man,
That's why
that
we need it because when I built the courage up to call a friend of the court, one of the recordings was, if you want to put a father on child support, please press so and so button. So it's the perspective that dads don't care. People think that we're not out here grinding for our kids, and more
and
men are
more men are
grinding for their
grinding for
kids,
their
and I mean
kids,
on
and I
a
mean
daily
on a daily
basis,
basis.
grinding for their kids. Come home to their kids, tuck their kids in, even if their kid is asleep, tuck their kid in, and then are not. But society
But
doesn't
society doesn't
promote that.
promote that.
They don't
They
uplift
don't
fathers
uplift fathers
the way they
the
should,
way
and
they should, and
I'm trying to
I'm
highlight
trying to
that.
highlight that
The dads who
the
often
dads
feel
who often feel
forgotten,
forgotten,
our kids.
our kids.
If we look
If we
at the
look at the
disparity of the
disparity of the
generational curses
generational
of
curses of
parents who are not
super active in their
super active
kids'
in their
lives,
kids' lives,
and then their kids
and
aren't
then their
super
kids
active
aren't super
in their
active
kids'
in
lives.
their kids' life.
Hmm.
So what we're
So
doing
what
is
we're
we're
doing is
literally we're changing the
we're
way
changing
people
the way
think, or
people
we're
think, or
trying
we're
to
trying to
change the way
change the
people
way
think,
people
change
think,
the way
change the way
people
people
approach
approach
parenting,
parenting,
and view
and view
parenting from
parenting
afar.
from afar.
Yeah, there's a there's a lot of people that don't understand the need for offering resources to fathers. Um, you have a lot of young women. They think that um, we should offer more resources for the mothers because they're with the kids more and they have them more. Um, but can you talk about like some of the challenges being a single father when you're not inside of the home? I know that you have custody of all of your children, but can you speak to what it's like when you don't have any control?
Oh
Oh
man,
man,
you got to
you
jump
got to
through the
jump
hoop
through the hoop
for even
for
the
even the
chance and the
chance and the
dream,
dream,
just for it to be
just for
dangled
it to
in
be
front
dangled
of
in
you
front of
and
you
walk
and
away at
walk
the
away
last
at the
moment,
last moment,
and then be
and
told
then
that
be
you're
told
not
that
good
you're
enough,
not good
or
enough,
that you didn't do
you
this
didn't do
right, and
this
you
right,
reflect mark
check
this
mark
spot.
this spot.
It's like
It's like
the
the
moment that
moment that
a father
a
is
father is
absent,
absent,
it's
it's
almost it
almost
almost
it
feels
almost
like no
feels
matter
like no
what
matter
they
what.
do, even if they walk on eggshells and they do every single thing that is asked of them to do, it almost feels like it's impossible that they'll never gain their kids back, gain the visitation, gain the time, because that's really what
Because
it
that's
is.
really what it is.
Time.
Time.
Very true. Very true. I always share a part of my personal experience. I say that I didn't learn to become a father, a successful father, until later on in life. So I often even tell people how I feel, how I failed with my oldest son, right?
Hmm.
Because I wasn't there for him physically. I had him at a young age and then left for the military. So like you said, that time passes and time passes fast. And then the next thing you know, you look up and your child is now a man and they're grown, and you haven't built that relationship. And the only thing that they know of you is what um, they have heard of you,
Hmm.
so it's very hard to build those relationships when they've been destroyed in that way. But I
And
also
let me touch on that
Let
for
me
just
touch
understand
on
that.
that for just a second.
Oh yeah, go ahead, definitely.
because it's
Because
crazy because
it's
with
crazy
being
because
my oldest, she is
she is
21, married. I have two beautiful grandsons, but she had the father that wasn't who stands before you now. So even having a father there who isn't there in the best productive way, that still leaves a
a
lasting ripple
lasting
effect
ripple
impact
effect impact
Hmm.
that we're
that
still
we're
trying
still
to,
trying to.
I don't want to say
I don't
make
want to
up
say
for,
make up for,
but I just
but
think
I just think
that we did the
that
best
we
that we
did the
could
best that we
in that
could
moment.
in that moment.
Yeah.
I think that a
I
lot of
think that a lot of
fathers
fathers
truly do the best that they can in the moment
in the
with the
moment with
knowledge
the
that they have.
knowledge that they have.
Some
Yes.
fathers,
Some
yes, we
fathers,
know,
yes, we
and
know,
mothers as
and
well, they
mothers
take
as
the
well. They
easy way
take the
out.
easy way out.
Yeah.
But I think
But I
for the
think
most
for the
part,
most part,
a majority
a
don't.
majority don't.
Yes. And let's speak on the fact that resources. What type of resources are available for a father who doesn't have his children full time?
So it's crazy
So
because
it's crazy
I'm
because
just now
I'm
getting my
just now
feet wet
getting
in
my
that
feet wet
arena.
in that arena.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just
So
now
I'm just
learning
now
that there
learning that
truly
there
are
truly
other
are other
agencies
agencies
in Jackson,
in
in the city of
Jackson, in the city
Jackson,
of Jackson,
with dad
with
rooms
dad rooms,
Mm.
where it's
where
designed
it's
for you to
designed for you
walk
to
in and
walk in and
you be okay. You
be
feel
okay.
like
You
it's okay
feel
to
like
be
it's
there.
okay to be there.
Wow.
So I'm learning
So I'm
about,
learning about
in that
in
particular
that
room, I
particular
believe is
room. I
that
believe is that
family services and
family
children
services
night.
and children night.
I was
Wow.
I
actually
was actually
up north
up north
at a conference
at a
last week
conference last week
for a juvenile
for a
division
juvenile
conference,
division conference,
and found a connection to two individuals out of I believe it's Kalamazoo and one out of Benton Harbor, two men who have dad programs inside of their communities. So I'm looking to actually find those resources, and if we don't have them, bring them in. Like, and that's why one of the most important things for me is to talk to dads who have been down different roads, because I only understand what I understand, but I want to understand from everybody's viewpoint. I want to understand from that dad who's in the midst of fighting right now. One of my best friends, like I said earlier, called me, and after a long battle, finally came out on the other side. But let me walk through that battle with the people who aren't coming out on the other side today or tomorrow or next week, and
Yes.
learn what resources they feel they need, and then bring those to the table for them.
Yes. Because one thing that I know that is everybody's situation is different. Um, I've learned through my own personal situation and my battles with the child support system. A lot of people don't realize how destructive the child support system becomes on um, young black men, that are in the system. Um, there's really a double standard when it comes to how the system treats us, when we know that um, just the way that they police the child support program, it varies in every state. So the rules change in every state you go by. It's one of the most hardest. You can't get anybody to help you. There's no lawyers to help you with child support cases. Like you said, when you call the child support office, there's prompts for the mothers, but there's no prompts for the dads. There's nothing for the dads, and that's what I say about resources. Um, it's really sad that there isn't any. So let's do the comparison. They they don't give you food stamps for the single father that has his kids on the weekend. You know,
Hmm.
like you can't get subsidized housing for the single dad that has the kids on the weekend. I've seen situations where they're told that they have to have at least 50% custody in order to get a subsidized unit alone in their name. So you see that there's just less resources to help young men to actually become fathers. In a perfect world, like if you could change things, what type of resources would you offer to young fathers?
Oh man, I would love to see daycare for fathers
Uh,
who have their kids. Let's say right now you're in a system and you have your kids every other weekend, which a lot of fathers do.
mm-hmm.
They still have to work, and they still
Yep.
have to work that weekend, and they have to find childcare. And if they don't find childcare, then they have to get points, or they have to call in sick, and hopefully that their employer understands,
Mm-hmm.
and that way they can do their job, but still be a dad to your kid. I think
Exactly.
we need support in housing now. Like, I've worked in housing, so I know behind the scenes for the last 2 years, and that, from my understanding, there is zero housing that is specific to single dads.
None.
There is
None.
nothing that, I don't want to say a crutch. There is nothing that helps a father, because one of the biggest things that society won't, quote unquote, teach a man is that it's okay to ask for help.
That's a fact.
Just like you said about Department of Health and Human Services. There is no program that allows a father to get, what, if it's 30 days, like three 12% or 18% of the allotted food stamp amount, or food stamp amount. That way he can provide for his kids while he has them, because he has to provide clothing.
Yep.
And a lot of times this is on top of the child support that he's paying.
Yep.
So he's paying child support.
He has to
He
provide
has to
clothing.
provide clothing.
He has to
He
provide
has to
meals.
provide meals.
He has to
He
provide
has to
gas.
provide gas.
Where is there a
Where
place
is there
where
a
the
place
dad
where the
can be
dad
called
can
and
be
be like,
called and be like,
I've literally
I've
done
literally
everything
done
that I said. I
everything
need
that
20
I
bucks
need
for
20
gas so
bucks
I
for
can get
gas
my
so I
kids
can get
back
my
and forth
kids
to
back
school
and
this
forth
week.
to school this week.
Nowhere.
And they
And they
understand
understand
that it's a
that
dad
it's a
thing.
dad thing.
Like you
Yeah.
gotta swallow.
You gotta
You gotta
swallow.
swallow your
You gotta
pride
swallow.
to ask for help as a man.
Yes, you do.
And we don't.
And we don't.
We tend to glorify all of the negative things. Let's start to glorify that father that's showing up every day. And no, he's not showing up perfect. Nobody is. Because he's learning to be a dad along the route, just like his kids are learning to be kids. But he's not giving up, he's not quitting, and it seems
And
like
it
no matter
seems
what,
like no
there are
matter
more
what, there are more
barricades and
barricades
obstacles
and
placed in the
obstacles
way.
placed in the way.
Yes.
We need food
We
Yes.
need
programs,
food
we need
programs. We need
education
education
programs.
programs.
You don't know
You
what
don't
you
know
don't
what you
know.
don't know.
I had no
I had
idea
no idea.
until I found out that when you slam a door, you are mentally abusing everybody around you who can hear that door slam.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our young men grew up in homes where doors slam. If you didn't know that was mental abuse, you would not correct it because you just didn't know.
Yeah.
So that
So
translates
that
to
translates
every area. Let's help dads in every single area because it's every single area that's affected by every single area. I know that was a
I know that was
roundabout,
a
but if it
roundabout,
makes
but if
sense
it
to you,
makes
you
sense to you,
understand.
you understand.
No, that was exactly what I was looking for. I mean, that's exactly what I was looking for. There's no resources, like you said, no tools to help dads. I mean, when you look at just what the system does to a man that can't afford to take care of their children, right? So the first thing they get is child support. Child support determines a set dollar amount. Okay, they pay that. If they can't keep up with that, the very first thing that child support does is suspend your license. Right? They suspend your license. Now that becomes another fee that you have to pay for, as well as the child support that you didn't pay. So if you can't afford to pay for that, usually what comes next is jail time,
Mhm.
and they give you jail credit days for dollars. They call it dollar for days. Right? How's that make sense? But when they give you those dollar for days jail time, they never give the mothers that actual money in currency. So these guys go to jail and their child is still not taken care of financially. So what we see in this system is that it actually does more harm than it's supposed to do for good, because we find people are losing jobs, they're losing their license, their ability to go get a job, um,
And
and
and that
there's
and
no
that's
help.
And that's
not only does it hinder their ability to keep the job to provide for their kids, but we know, especially as men of color, on
Hmm.
that
on that
application,
app.
when it asks about your criminal background,
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, no matter what you put, it's he's a criminal. So it
facts.
doesn't
So
matter
it
if you
doesn't
went
matter.
to jail for 3 days for your child support. You're in the system. You're locked in. You've
Yep,
got those
You've got
brass
those.
knuckles on you, and you're not going nowhere.
yep. And now you become uh, a easy mark for ridicule, because now you can't financially provide, um, and a lot of men get thrown along that path. Sad.
And we
And
know that
we
when
know
you
that
listen to the negative voice, you fall
Hmm.
you fall
deeper and
deeper
deeper
and
and
deeper
deeper
and
into
deeper into
despair.
despair.
Yeah, that's
S-
very true.
s-
In my younger years, ever since that I was placed on child support without me even knowing. I was in the military, and my son was born in New Jersey. I was sending money home. In fact, I always told my son's mother, like, if you want to put me on child support, just let me know, because the military has a thing where they'll basically pay it for you. So I don't know how, but all I know was 3 years later, I get my taxes taken, and I'm over $20,000 in the hole with child support. There was a case put up on me without my knowledge. I tried to fight it for many years, um, and me being young and not having the information, the resources, I did what many of us do, and I just fell defeated to it, and just said it is what it is. I don't have the ability to fight back because they're just gonna do whatever. And for many years, including till to this day, I still suffer under that system where they take 55% of my income, right? In my younger years, you go to work for 40 hours, and before you even get your check, 55% of that income is gone. My younger years, this would make me quit jobs. And it was
Mm-hmm.
because financially, I wasn't able to even afford a living on my own when you're taking more than half of my income. And this was in the early 2000s, where most of the jobs we were getting back then was at $10 and $12 an hour, working in a factory for $12 an hour. This little $450 paycheck, and
See,
they're slashing it in half.
and that's the thing. Where's the subsidy for the dad who it doesn't? So there are certain housing programs that we don't care if you have child support taken out. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how much you get paid per hour and how many hours you work per week.
Yep.
That's not right, and that makes people want to quit.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that, of course I'm going to be able to change that, but we need to bring light to that. We need to bring light to the dad who, like you said, 55% of your income, especially now, let's use that to today.
Hmm.
55% of somebody's income today, they're going to have to go get two more full-time jobs
Yep.
just to even try to afford the most minimalist of apartments.
Yep. And think about what that does to a man. So you're a man, and you're trying to provide for your family, and you still have other obligations that you have to take care of. And like you said,
Hmm.
so that forces you to have to work more, which means when you work more, that means that's even less time that you're able to go to that soccer game, go to that football game, or be at the graduations, um, and all of these equal up to, the reasons why a lot of fathers aren't present, around when they want to. They want
Hmm.
to. And like you said, there is no subsidy. Even now, being married, they look at my gross income. They don't look at how much is taken from me, that I get so much in deductions. They don't think about that I pay for health care for all of my children. They don't take into none of that into account.
And
So,
even at worst case scenario, we don't even give fathers a mental subsidy.
not at all.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be that physical dollar amount. We
Yeah.
don't even give fathers a mental subsidy. Like man, give that father a pat on his back. Tell him that you see him. Like it's so I teach anger management. One of the things that I do is I teach anger management at the juvenile detention facility that I work.
Hmm.
Um, and I always explain to the kids, if you find what you're looking for, if we're constantly looking for fathers that are negative and promoting negative fatherhood and negative fatherhood engagement, then that's everything that anybody's going to see. They're not going to see that dad who drops his son off and his daughter off or the entire soccer team off
at their function every single week. They're not going to pay attention to that dad who shows up.
Mm-hmm.
They're only going to say, man, that kid's dad isn't there. But where is that kid's dad? Is that kid's dad working? Like, Justin, I work 2 jobs.
Yep.
I work 7 days a week. I work on paper. I work at least 64 hours a week. Like, and that's just to provide for my kids.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so if you
Pamela,
look at
that was a great comment. She said they don't want fathers to be productive. They want you to stay suppressed, and stuck at a certain level. That is true, and those are the things that we need to advocate to change, right? These systems. This is what I want to bring to people's attention. That we have systems that are currently oppressing people, right?
yeah,
These systems were originally designed to help, but there was no one to speak up for these fathers to say that these programs are actually harming us more.
that's
When
because fathers weren't invited to the tables for the conversation,
That's a fact. That's a fact.
and that's
We
that's
were.
one of the reasons I'm so proud and happy about this position. Is in the job description, it has
Yep.
3 specific tables that it says that this person must sit on, or highly encouraged to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already a member of 2 of those, and the male representation is minimal
Very.
because statistically men aren't invited to the table, and if they are invited to the table, their input isn't valued in the fatherhood eye. It's viewed in the masculine male eyes.
Mm.
Like, now we're bringing the fatherhood aspect to the table, and you have to
Yep.
respect that fatherhood aspect because it's different than the male. It's the same, but it's different.
Yeah. That's why I'm glad that that position went to a black father. When they first told me about the position, they asked me to sit on the hiring. And I was so glad that you were one of the people that had interviewed for the position. There was a lot of good candidates, but I was just happy that that position went to a black father because there's such a stereotype surrounded around black fathers, and people really haven't seen or took the time to actually look at the systematic attack that was targeted towards a lot of black fathers within the last. I mean, you look even the last 100 years. You can go back and you can see all of the different attacks, systems, plagues that they use to take away black fathers. I advocate for one of the things that we need to change is that the DHS system, Section 8, all of the voucher systems, they penalize women when they get into a relationship, right? When a man comes into the house, the woman loses food stamps, her rent goes up. All of these negative connotations happen when a woman finds a life partner, right? I think that we need to reverse that and actually give them different type of resources, right? So that they can get to the next level. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we need to advocate for and change is that the systems start to engage people and not penalize a woman for getting married, not penalize her and make her lose her food stamps when she gets a working man in the house. At least give her a chance to get on her feet before you start taking these things away.
Mhm.
And actually give.
And also, we never individualize resources. We tend to think that all resources need to be the same for everybody, and everybody can access the same door and the same information. We know that
and I hate to say this, a male or a woman, person of color or non-person of color, can all go to the same door, get the same information, and it be completely different for each person.
Mm, that's a fact.
And that sucks. Like
Yes.
and like you said, like we're penalizing people for finding happiness. We're penalizing and taking away benefits that are meant to help. It just The system is designed to make you want to give up. If you need the system, or if the system is in your life, then it's designed to make you want to give up and rely on the system.
Facts.
And that's what
And
we have
that's what we have.
that's what we have to
That's what
change.
we have to change.
Yes. Getting people off of the system. I've learned that as much as I can keep these systems out of my personal life, the better that I become. Um, so that means, yes, I have to pay for my own food, I have to pay for my own health care, and I pay for my own housing. But doing that, yeah, you're gonna struggle. But at the same time, life is much easier when you don't have the government in your business telling you how much you can make and having to show your bank statements every 6 months and 90 days, and have to be capped under this life of poverty in order to accept the help. So I've been telling people, as much as you can, keep these systems out of your business. My youngest son, I was fortunate to not have to deal with the child support system because for him, he came at a time where I become the man that I am today. So I'm very much active in his life. I take care of him in every way, financially, and I'm there for him for most everything that he does. Um, so being able to experience that type of relationship in the fatherhood aspect has been um, a lot better, not having to deal with the court system. So I tell people, especially young fathers, as much as you can, um, try to keep the courts out of your business, keep the government out of your business as much as you possibly can. Stay away from these systems. Young women realize that some of these systems aren't really designed to help you in any type of way. Um, so, as much as you possibly can, try to get away from these systems. Build
Hmm.
yourself up. This is why we teach the Hustle for a Living program. Um, but there needs to be more programs for young fathers. So I'm glad that agencies like Community Action Agency is thinking about it. Um, what are some of the ideas you got for this position, or the things that you're gonna do pretty soon?
Oh man, so I've got, even before I had the position, or the position was bestowed upon me, because that's the right word that I feel. Um,
Yeah,
I had
facts.
so many plans. I had so many different ideas, like donuts with dad, dogs with dad, tag a dad. Like, even today, I'm thinking of, like, I want to hook up with ice cream with dad,
Yeah,
movie with dad.
I
Like
got a
like
plug for you.
and that's why one of the things I was so happy about being here with you tonight, because I know that your reach is huge. You know what I'm saying? And anybody who has any resources or any ideas, please reach out to me. Um, I want so much dad involvement. I remember about 15 years ago, through Community Action Agency, I partook in a class called Proud Fathers, and it was just a place for dads to come in, and we had a workbook that we worked through. It was a safe place for dads to come in and be like, I had to learn to do my daughter's hair today. And back in the day, dads was doing their daughter's hairs with vacuum hoses.
Yeah,
It was that safety. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, and that's what, like, if it's the free meal that brings you in, then that's what it is. Hopefully, there's a nugget that plants inside of you that you can take away.
that's dope, man.
So, like, I want to see
dads with their kids walking in the parade.
Yeah.
I want to see dads outside of school on, I don't think it's weekdays anymore, whatever it is. But man, let me get 20, 30 dads lined up at the school, high-fiving these kids when they get off the bus, encouraging them
Yep.
that they can go into school, and it don't matter what grade you get, but you try your hardest and we're proud of you.
Yep. I've always wanted to do that too. Show up to the schools for the kids with a bunch of fathers, to
Yeah.
encourage them, just so the kids can see that, as well as
Because
it
what
would be
about the
really
kid who doesn't have that dad or that positive role model?
exactly. That's what I think about. I grew up in the 80s, 84. I was born, so I grew up in the 90s. Really, um,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the aftermath of the 80s. So a lot of my friends had lost fathers to the crack epidemic, whether one way or the other. Some were users, some um, got locked up to, crazy numbers back then they were given for men that were possessing crack over cocaine. So a lot of fathers were gone. I was fortunately to be one of the only children around that had a father in the home. So I grew up different than all of my friends. So to watch the destruction of all of these homes lacking fathers, to see that it's actually rebuilding now. Like when I go to the school, my son graduated from Sharp Park last year. Every event that I went to, I seen so many um, black fathers, in the attendance at the whatever it was, school plays or
Mm-hmm.
lunch with the kids, and man, it just made me feel good. And one of the ideas I'd like to see you do is, what about a Father's Day barbecue?
Say less.
You know,
Listen, say less.
Father's Day, man, I'm telling you, that's like one of the saddest holidays. Um, even just when I look on Facebook, I don't see many Father's Day posts. I don't see many Father's Day events. I seen
No disrespect, but yeah, you do. You be seeing the posts, but it's not uplifting the fathers.
yes, it's not uplifting the fathers. Um, and that's sad, man, because I know for me, I know how hard it is for me, being formerly incarcerated, having gone to prison, missing multiple years, missing births, birthdays, all holidays, and then to come home to try to rebuild your life and not being able to financially pay for your child's birthday gift, or Christmas gift, and the feeling that leaves you with as a father, that's like the worst thing in the world. But
See, so now let me hit that from my backstory. All right, man, I live on a busy street. Um, so me and my father have a really really good relationship now, but we
mm-hmm.
didn't because he was locked up.
Yes, Shannon.
But like, I didn't eat popcorn for so long because the smell of popcorn reminded me of the waiting room to go see my dad.
Wow.
So like I approach fatherhood, especially with the way that I raise my children, of still having that void of not having my dad. So like you were able to view it from the point of seeing all the dads around you leave. I had to view it from the point of my dad was gone. Am I going to use that as fuel, or am I going to use that as poison? I think many of us end up using that as poison because we don't know how to hit that switch to use it as fuel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, that's very true. And I think part of that reason is because there's there's never a story told about the fathers. You always see stories about the mothers, which they deserve all the credit in the world for having to do
Mhm.
it all on their own. I give the most props to women that have to do that, especially knowing how hard it is. But there's never a story about the young man who is um, under the thumb of all of these systems, right? We know now that we have the school to prison pipeline.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and we have child support. We have, just the regular court, the justice system right now in America, right? Chances are, I forgot the number. It's crazy the number of men that have a felony conviction just in the world, like in the United States, is crazy. The amount of things that you can go to prison for, it's astronomical, right?
And it's
And it,
designed
it's
that way.
designed that way. It's designed that way. It's a system that's
But
actually designed to keep you in poverty
the
because
system works
the system
great.
works great. It works exactly the way that Willie Lynch designed it. There's a book. There's a book that a sister wrote that talks about these the systematic oppression that is being oppressed on, especially the black male community, and she's trying to get people to understand how harmful these systems are, and we think that they're helping us, but actually they're destroying us. One of the principles in the Willie Lynch laws was to remove the fathers from the home, to remove the fathers from the
Hmm.
home, and then have the mothers rely on everything that she needs from the master. Who is the master? The master now is DHS because she supplies their housing, the food, and the health care. The housing, the food, and the health care.
I remember
I
reading a
remember.
book, and I can't remember who wrote it. It's called "The Assassination of the Black Male Image," and it's an entire
It's an
book
entire book
written
written
and designed
and
to show
designed
you
to show
how
you.
it's an attack on the black man and your perception of the black man. Be scared of the black man. Don't have your kids around the black man. And unfortunately, women of color have internalized that as well.
Mm,
Don't have your kid
don't have
around
your
the
kid
black
around the
man.
black man. Mm,
And
and
that's what I
that's
want to try
what
to
I
tell.
want to try to tell.
And of course, it's
And of
not
course, it's not
specific
specific,
just the black
just the
male
black
image,
male image,
but the
but the
fatherhood image,
fatherhood image,
because that
because
is under
that
attack.
is under attack.
That has
Yes,
been
that has been
demoralized and
demoralized and
disrespected and
disrespected
thrown
and
in the ground.
thrown in the ground.
For every
For
for every
every
guy or
guy
man
or
or
man
dad
or
or
dad
father
or
figure,
father
whatever,
figure,
who's
whatever, who's
absent,
absent,
there's a
there's a
dozen
dozen
who show up,
who
like you said
show up, like you
earlier,
said earlier,
to those school
to those
plays
school plays
in their work
in their
clothes
work clothes. Yeah,
with the oil on
with the
them,
oil on them,
with the soot.
with the soot.
Like
Yeah,
I'm sure you
I'm
remember
sure you
or
remember
have seen
or
the
have seen
the
the
photo of the dad who went viral at the basketball game.
yep.
He showed up to the
He showed up to
basketball game. That's dads. Our perception
our
of
perception
fatherhood
of
and
fatherhood.
dads are that they're absent. No, that's dads. That's showing
That's
up
showing up.
every single
Yep.
day,
Every single
showing up
day,
to come
showing
out.
up to come out, no matter what. And sadly, some of us don't get taught that, and we have to learn. I was fortunate to have amazing support system that helped me as I grew and learned. You know what I'm saying? Like to have a partner. Like I had my wife, so many years as when I first came home. I couldn't afford anything. I think I was working at the city of Jackson on the golf course, cutting grass on the golf course. I mean, they were murdering my paychecks, bro. They like
Hmm.
eviscerating. I think I was making like $174 every 2 weeks,
And working
like
hard.
just working hard, back breaking work all day long. And I remember specifically one year, my son's birthday. No, it was Christmas came around, and I didn't have enough money to pay for anything, you know. But I was fortunate enough to have family, my wife, and they stepped in and they helped me, make it happen so that I was still able to be dad. You know
Have
what I mean?
yep.
Yep.
Had that
Had
superhero
that
energy.
superhero energy. Yeah, and that's all that we as fathers can ask for, right? Um, so that really situations like that made me think about the fathers that don't have that support system, and then uh, now, you know, then you get the feeling like, man, I can't show up to the birthday party. I don't even have a gift. Like, you know, I know what that feels like, and I've
I was
seen
gonna
that
say,
happen.
you know that feeling. I know that feeling.
Yes,
And it's not
yes,
because you done squandered the money away. It's not because you done spending on stuff that doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah. It's because there is no subsidy, like you said. There is no help with housing.
But you're
Uh,
held to that higher standard because not only are you human, but you're a male.
you're a man, and
Right.
and it's
Right.
funny
Boom. Boom.
that even in the world that we're living in now, right, with equity, right, um, we still have this holding of the man at the higher standard. Like, well, you're a man, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it should
We
still
know
be
that
the
it's
same.
okay for a man to cry, right?
Yeah,
It,
finally.
is that right? Right. But we still, as men, hold that superior outer shell. And I
Yep,
can't be crying. I can't let anybody see me cry.
yep,
When nine
yep.
times out of 10 to stop that explosion or that pressure buildup, that releases what you that cry
It's what we
release.
need. Exactly, exactly. But definitely, man, this was a great conversation, man. I definitely appreciate that, man.
No,
I
I
definitely
appreciate you,
appreciate
man. You out
that.
here grinding. Like, let me
Yes,
give you
sir.
some flowers while you out here too.
Man, I appreciate
I
it.
know dads who don't battle half of what you battle through and have given up.
Hmm.
So I commend you. I know how hard it is to show up every single day.
Yeah.
Commend you for that.
Well, I know the results of that. What happens when you
Amen.
give up, and that's what I tell young fathers now. The best thing that you can do is just to be present. They don't care about the money. They don't care about none of that, how you look, or none of that. They just want you to be around.
Just
You know,
show up.
yep, just show up. That's all you need, man.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I'm glad that they have a program like this, because you can be a resource of fathers in that way. We just need somebody to give us that encouragement, to let us know that we can um, do what we can do. You know what I mean? We can make it happen what we can make happen, man.
Mm.
And if
And
anything
we're
that I
not
could bring,
alone out.
exactly, you're not alone out here.
Yep.
It's other fathers just like you. We go through the same things, same trials
Nervous,
and
scared,
tribulations.
worried, happy,
Man,
fearful, full of anxiety,
man,
depressed,
man. Hey, I
everything.
told I said this to a room full of social workers one time, because they didn't understand why some of our clients freeze up, why in certain situations, and they choose not to engage, or they automatically turn to anger, right? We see that a lot in the case management world, right? And I tell people, I said, this is the defense mechanism for people who
That's
have
it.
gone through trauma.
Because you
You
got to
know,
protect yourself at all costs.
exactly. And I use this situation. I said, still to this day, anytime that I go into the child support office, my anxiety is immediately on 10. Because first of all, that's also the parole office.
Yeah.
So I remember those days too. And then I remember that every time I go in this building, my experience is always negative, right? So no matter what happens when I go inside of that building, my anxiety is on 10, and I'm automatically perceiving everything as a threat. So
And,
even the lady that
and
just,
the flip side of that, how are they perceiving you?
yep,
Are they smiling at you? Are they asking you, how are you doing today? Or are they
yep,
stern, off-putting, like you're invading their privacy, bothering them?
yep. And usually that's the way that you get treated. So that's why for me it was so easy for me to take that defeated approach and just be like, screw it. it's gonna get me anyway. Ain't nothing I can do. You know.
You know, they tried to
You know,
put
they
me on
tried to
child
put me on
support
child support
once. A
once.
girl that I
A
was
girl that
dating,
I was
trying to do
dating,
stuff the
trying to do
right way,
stuff the
so we
right way,
filed
so
for
we
benefits
filed for
together.
benefits together. Hmm.
They tried to put me
They
on
tried to
child
put me on
support for
child
a
support.
kid that wasn't mine. Didn't sign no
Wow.
child
Didn't sign no
support.
child
Another man
support.
on the
Another
child
man on
on
the child.
the birth certificate. And then my daughter, who has never lived in the home while she's been married with kids, they tried to put me on child support when my grandson was born.
Man,
Like that doesn't even
like that
make
doesn't even
sense.
make sense. Doesn't make no sense, man.
So and,
And
and
you
so
know,
we know
and
you're
so we
not the
know
only
you're not the
father
only father
who
who
has
have
just
who
thrown
has
in the
just
towel.
thrown in the towel.
So how many
So
people
how
have
many
thrown
people
in the
have thrown in
towel
the
on
towel
some
on
bogus
some bogus
humbug,
humbug,
and now it's
and
years and
now
years
it's
and
years
years
and years
later?
and years later? Yep. And this is a fun fact about fathers. You know, fathers actually pay for the birth of children. I say this a lot. A lot of people are surprised by this when I say this, and a lot of people give me a lot of flack. But the very first bill that you get when you're on child support, most people, is the birth. You start off $5,000 in the hole for the birth, and that happens when the mother is on state assistance health care, right? If they're on any kind of Medicaid, somebody has to pay for the birth. So they make the fathers pay for the birth.
So you're
Every
already
father.
in
You're
the hole
already
from
in the
day
hole
one.
from day one. You're already in the hole from day one.
And,
This
and
is how
and
they
now
do
let's
it.
look
And
at it
now
from
let's look
the
at it from
wider
the
ripple
wider
effect.
ripple effect.
Statistically, men of
Statistically,
color don't
men
have
of
that
color don't
support
have
that they
that
can
support
lean
that
on
they
and be
can
like,
lean on
"Hey,
and be
yo,
like,
let me get
hey,
five
yo, let
racks."
me get 5 racks. No, no, you don't. And I mentioned earlier, every state is different. Every state is different. Like for me, New Jersey, you pay child support all through college. So as
Mm.
long as your children is in college, I think they cap it at 24. So you pay up to 24, and you have to maintain health care coverage. You know, so it's different for every father. Every situation is different. Every state is different.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of Jackson guys, I wish my child support was in Jackson because I ain't some of the child support amounts I seen here. I was like, man, I wish.
Man,
But we need some more equity. Like you said, more resources for fathers. So I'm just glad that we got you, man. I'm just so excited, and I'm glad
look,
people.
I'm glad to be
I'm
here.
glad to be here.
Like I was having a conversation with someone earlier, because I knew about the position before it was officially released, and they were like,
And they were like,
"Man, they didn't just give it to you." And I was like, "No, because I want the right person in here. Like,
yeah,
don't give it to me just because you know me. Don't give it to me just because people may like me or may not. I don't know. I don't care. Give it to me because I'm qualified for it, and you know that I have a passion to try to make a change in people's life."
yeah, and just to say from the coming from the person that interviewed you and the other men, that was one of the hardest like decisions as far as when you picking between like one person, because all of you men were amazing. Y'all had good qualities and different things bringing to the table, and it just made me proud as a black man. Just to see that. You know, they had 3 or 4 strong black fathers
Very
and
strong.
very strong, very strong. Like it was impressive to see. Like it was mind blowing because I remember the days when I first started at Community Action Agency. I was the only black male in the office outside of the black men that worked the janitorial staff, right? So I would get looks like, "What do you do here?" You know, because I show up my authentic self, so I come as you see me.
Oh, you already know.
You already know. It's Justin slash Jersey.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so to see the agency shift and to see now people are starting to think about like the representation, man. This is amazing time that we in right now, and I'm like telling brothers and sisters right now to come forward, man. Time it's the time now, man. They inviting us to the table in ways that we have never been invited before. I've never been asked to interview somebody, you know. I've never been
And they're
asked
inviting
to.
us to the table with our life experience.
Yes.
Not
Yes,
saying that
with
we
our
have to
life
jump through the
experience.
hoop to get the accreditation to say that it's acceptable. No, they're saying we see how you lived and we see the life experience you have. That's more valuable sometimes than what people can get out of a book.
Facts. I tell people all the time, I got my job because of that. I'm in a case management position, a social work position, and I've never completed any college degree, but yet the job requires a bachelor's degree. But how I managed that was because I have that bachelor's worth of experience on the street.
Mm. And
Yep.
that's one of the things that I love about community activities is they're actually seeing value in people and in the human aspect and the individual aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you went to college and got a degree in this, qualified in this, you have experience in this, and
Yep.
even if you don't have experience in this, I might take a chance on you. Come on.
Yep. Yep. And what they're finding out is that there's nobody that understands the streets more than the people that have lived in the streets. When you know what it's like to sleep outside, when you know what it's like to sleep in your car, when you know what it's like to can't afford to pay your gas bill, you know, these things, these situations, it helps you to become a better case manager because you've personally been through those situations.
Mm-hmm.
So when people come into your office and they're scared because they're about to lose everything, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. I've been through that.
Yep. So
I've been
we're
through
making
that.
those interactions less harmful,
Exactly.
less traumatic on the client.
Exactly. And that's why our voices and our opinions matter. And that's why they're starting to reach out and ask for them more than ever. So I
See,
tell people all the time, it's time.
I like to
Start
think that we're
speaking up.
the new Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're like, how are we gonna do it? How are we gonna do it? Let's call them in. And they're gonna get it
Yeah.
done. Not only can we get it done, but we get it done professionally. We get it done with class, and we make it look good. We just do.
Yes. Yes. It's because we have the lived experience now to match their science. Science is finally catching up. And they're starting to understand trauma. They're starting to understand generational trauma. They're starting to understand epigenetics, where we have memories of trauma actually encoded in our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So their science is actually catching up, and now they're actually showing it in real life. Like, this is the real life, outcome of what happens when A, B, and C happens. Look, this is what it looks like in real life, in real time. And they're
And we're
actually
also
reaching out to
breaking
those
the
people.
stereotype that they have
Yes.
because they're saying,
Yes.
how can this person do this with this trauma?
Yep.
I tell people my ACE score, which is adverse childhood experiences, is max.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be in this conversation. I shouldn't be sitting here with you tonight.
Yep. Yep.
So
And because of
how go ahead.
no, because of I was gonna ask, because of your A score, right? You said that high A score. The numbers have shown what? What are your outcomes?
Oh man, I'm supposed to be dead. I'm supposed to be in prison. I'm supposed to have cancer. I'm supposed to be a detriment to society.
Mhm.
Um, not supposed to be able to read and write. Not be supposed to hold a job.
Mhm.
Supposed to be living off the system. Not a productive father
Mhm.
or productive husband slash boyfriend, whatever it is at the time.
Yep.
Um, excuse my language. I'm supposed to be POS.
Yep. Yep.
Like.
Even life expectancy. Life
Right.
expectancy.
I'm even if I'm not dead because of the street.
I'm 40 years old now. So I'm getting like what, 8 to 12 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yet we still here and we still surviving and we still thriving. Right?
And that's
and
we
teach
showing
people
other
the
people
way.
how to do it too.
That's a fact. Teaching others the way too, man.
Yep.
That's why I appreciate you, brother, man. We gotta give you a round of applause again, man, for
I
tapping
appreciate
in tonight, man.
Thank you.
You're a community soldier, man. Definitely appreciate everything that you got going on, everything that you're doing. And if there's any way that we could be a resource or a tool for you in your new role, definitely reach out. Anything that we can do to help support, spread information. And when you get your first event going on, definitely let me know because I gotta be there. I'm coming.
All right, listen, I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yes, I'm coming. I got kids, grandkids in the Head Start program right now. So I'll represent as they pop up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you a pop too?
Yeah, I'm a big pop out. You know,
I'm a pop. Yep, I'm a pop.
Yes, sir, man. It's a wonderful thing, man. Definitely.
I appreciate you, man, very much. And I appreciate everybody else out there.
Yes, sir. Salute, man. Thank you, everybody, for tapping in. We definitely appreciate everybody, especially everybody that's watching. All the comments, we see y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Community Soldier. It's been great, y'all. We'll catch y'all on the next.
Grandpa told me you lucky to have one friend. Situations in life coming, you gotta trust them. Found out many times in life you can't trust men. So I rolled solo, that process was an adjustment. Friends let you down, not around when you needing them. Only here to take like a child, got you feeding them. Better off leaving them like salt, that's the seasoning. Killing black people, that sugar really depleting them. Knowledge over ignorance, rising above predicaments. Fighting for equality, speaking for all the innocents. These drugs they been giving us, turning our people vigilant. Innocent dissidents, violence is coming imminent. Gotta fall a couple times to learn the lessons faster. Thinking will it matter if I skip a couple chapters? This life that I'm after got me climbing up the ladder. Won't be another rapper, bankrupt with the chapter. On another mission to get rich, it's big chips. And past the crown on solid ground, the kid spits. On another level, these devils can't block the business. The kid get psycho with a rifle, get your wig split. Change the game passively in the back so happily. Jersey